Hello and welcome back to Movie Theater Explorer. This is Brent, your Movie Theater Explorer here. And again, just here to talk about the most recent movies that I've recently seen in theaters and in the home theater. So again, I appreciate you coming back and checking me out, or if this is your first time, thank you for checking out this video or this podcast episode. I appreciate your time. Um, Hopefully, this gives you some good recommendations to check out, whether they're in theaters or whatnot. So, anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And the first movie I'm going to get started with is the movie Pressure. And for those that haven't seen it, or those that don't know what it is, basically it's a new World War II movie. It came out the last weekend of May, and I went to go see it because it looked intriguing. I saw the trailers and it looked intriguing enough and wanted to go check it out. So basically, what it's about is in preparation for D Day. This is World War II time before D Day. They're trying to predict the weather to see if the weather conditions are substantial enough to go into battle. And so this delved into a part of history that I did not know about. So, and I learned quite a bit from it as a result. And so it was definitely really intense. So how I would describe it is just how a lot, like obviously it is a war drama, a period drama, and the more the focus is how more of the tensions in trying to get this information from gathering it and delivering it to the higher ups to make sure they're aware of it, why this information is crucial and everything. And definitely like there it was definitely the performances were top notch. Brendan Fraser and Andrew Scott are probably the big top ones for sure, especially from Andrew Scott, who plays the one that's basically brought in to predict the weather. And then Brendan Fraser, yeah, yeah, he plays the general just trying to receive all this information and make the final call. And then you're just watching a lot of people kind of confront one another and everything. And and again, you see a lot of these elements, how it's filmed, how the sound design is, just and the music just showing just how the pressure is building and everything. So yeah, overall, it was definitely very well done. I saw this at my local Cinemark. Actually, I saw this a few days before it was released. So what happened was they did early screenings on Memorial Day, and so that's how I ended up going to see it. So it was a paid screening, and yeah, I thought it was very well done. And if you like those kind of movies, like period war dramas, I highly recommend checking this one out. It's very good. So, um, the next one, I did talk about how I wanted to see Mandalorian Grogu again, um, in another film format. So I had seen it in IMAX and I had seen it in Screen X, and so I went again, head and saw it again in Cinemark XD 3D. So it was still playing in some of the premium formats. So again, I wanted to see it in 3D because I had been hearing some word of the mouth where the 3D was actually quite good. So I went to go check it out this way, and I wanted to see um, how it was that way. If you guys read my little post on my Facebook page, you will have noticed that I did talk about my experience briefly. So the big thing that I did notice, so the theater, the XD theater is it's all like it's a wide screen of like 2.39. So from wall to wall. But when I noticed coming in that it looked like it cropped down more to a 1.85, so there were black bars. So yeah, it was obviously a bit of a smaller projection on the screen, and I was a little confused, especially when we got to the movie plane, and they told me, oh, that's how it's set up. I didn't know at the time, and right then there, but there was a part of me who was like, maybe they're gonna expand it, and then it didn't expand to the same scenes that the IMAX version did, but there were a few scenes where the aspect ratio expanded. So that's the reason why it was like that, and it was pretty cool. Um, so anyway, yeah. So having an XD with the immersive sound all over was really cool. And again, they obviously did a great job with helping to dial up the sound to fit the whole speaker setup. And then also, yes, obviously the colors were good, but the big thing was the 3D, and I thought the 3D was actually really impressive, honestly. Um, the um, the 3D was the main draw why I wanted to see it this way, and yeah, there was some good depth in the 3D, and I was definitely very impressed. So I'm very at the end of the day, I'm very glad I got to check out the movie in this format, and I'm glad I got to see it in 3D to see how it was. So yeah, overall, I was very impressed with the 3D. But if I were to rank them, obviously IMAX is my top notch. I kind of want to see the XD 3D as the next one, and then the Screen X. And again, Screen X was still a really cool way. So again, however you wanted to see the movie in theaters, it's still a fun movie. I know it's nothing like groundbreaking. This wasn't like a groundbreaking Star Wars movie at all. It was, um, yeah, it's just obviously I'm really excited for the new one coming out next year. But this was still like just a fun time in the theater, and again, like it wasn't something that blew the doors down. I didn't expect it to. It delivered what I expected. Just a fun Mandalorian Grogu adventure, and so again, it's still a fun time. But those are some of my thoughts on that. Okay, the next one. This is one that just came out this weekend. This is one I was very excited to see, and I got to go see it. And that is Masters of the Universe. I got to experience this one in Cinemark XD. So I went opening night for to see it that way, and I had a blast watching it. It was a really fun time. So basically, it's based off the cartoon from the '80s, He-Man, which I didn't really grow up watching. I think I might have seen an episode here and there. So, um, but again, not stuff that real like that I was overly familiar with, except I knew who He-Man was and I knew who Skeletor was, and yeah. Um, but the trailers just looked like a really fun time, and I think what really drew me wasn't, uh, I mean, not that I watched this cartoon, but more just had that feel of like an '80s Saturday's morning cartoon. So, and it looked like it was a lot of fun that way, but also it also felt like an '80s fantasy movie, which again I watched quite a few of those. So, and that's what kind of drew me as well. And it was a very colorful movie, and I think just experiencing it in a Cinemark XD theater to just notice the colors being more vibrant and the sound being more immersive was great. But anyway, back to the movie. Yeah, the colors are just really awesome, and again, if you like colorful, vibrant movies like that, yeah, this will definitely be up your alley. And again, The fight sequences definitely cartoony, but also definitely very impressive, and how they captured some of the scale. Like there's a certain sequence in the middle of the movie involving ships. I think they're at least they were in trailers, and it was definitely like just how it was captured and how it was presented was very impressive, especially in a movie theater, in a premium movie theater for sure. Um, yeah, it embraces the silliness, but it also embraces just having a fun time, like knowing like, hey, this is silly, but also it's a lot of fun. Um, yeah, they did a really good job with just balancing that cartoony tone and just making it a fun time and just knowing what it was. And the music was definitely a lot of fun as well and fit the tone of the movie for sure. Um, yeah, this was a really fun movie, and this was one I'm really glad I got to see this way, and definitely like again I would see in a premium format, um, to try to get the best presentation possible because again the colors are definitely like they definitely did a great job with all that, and in the sound design having the extra kick, like music filled the auditorium, but also a lot of like the certain impact, like some explosion, a couple explosions, I think, if I remember correctly. But just the like the punches and all that fight sequences definitely sounded very impressive. Um, it was definitely like it was just a really fun movie that I had a blast watching. Like and that fit 80s fantasy and 80s Saturdays morning cartoons. So if you're a fan of that stuff, I highly recommend checking this one out. I can't compare to the cartoon, and I can't compare to the '80s version of Masters of the Universe. So again, it's not about comparisons. It's just I had a fun time. So those are my thoughts on that. So again, those are the few movies I saw in theaters recently. Um, I did also watch a bunch of movies in my home theater this week or these past 2 weeks, and I'm just going to go through them quickly. Um, so the first one is that I'm going to go through is The Secret of My Success. This is a movie. I think it was released in 1987. I picked it up on Blu-ray from Keanu Lorber, and this movie is it stars Michael J. Fox. So basically, a kid from I believe Kansas. He moves to New York, wants to be successful, and and obviously that's a lot of his journey there and everything, and it was definitely a funny movie. I not like I was like laughing super hard that my stomach hurt or anything like that. It wasn't that kind of funny. It was just like more funny, charming. Um, just like a kind of like a romantic comedy from the 80s. I think they nailed that kind of tone and it was good. It had some good fun moments and some of the performances were good. It was fun seeing a couple of actors and I'm like, oh wait, I recognize who that person was. Um, but yeah, um, I watched this one in my modest home theater, and and the presentation was fine. Like actually, the presentation was pretty good actually. Um, like picture looked good, sounded quite really good actually. Wasn't anything that knocked the park down or anything like that, but again, is a modest home theater. So 55-inch screen. It's still like a 7.1 surround sound, up firing speakers, and it still worked. So it was still a good presentation. Still enjoyed the movie. Still thought they presented it well and everything. So, and again, it was a fun movie. It was like it was one of those just like a charming like romantic comedy with some moments that were funny. And just like yeah, the typical like you know how those kind of movies go. So, and Michael J. Fox does a good job at playing this character. So, if you like those kind of movies, I do recommend checking this one out. It was a fun time. Okay, the next one. In my continuation of trying to watch all the um, all the science fiction movies from Steven Spielberg, or at least what I define are the science fiction movies from Steven Spielberg. There might be some caveats that I might miss, but um, but I'm gonna try to catch all that I can, and I'm basically so just to break down what they all are. As far as I see them, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, E.T., um, Jurassic Park, The Lost World, AI Artificial Intelligence, Minority Report, War of the Worlds, and Ready Player One. So those are 8 that I'm counting. And those are the ones that I've been focusing on. And for my next review, that is AI Artificial Intelligence. Um, So yeah, I'll just talk about the movie first. So this was released back in 2001. For those that don't know the whole history behind it, and I'm going to be fuzzy on a lot of details because I don't have all of them pulled up in front of me, and I don't want to. So this is just based off memory. This is just based off what I know. But obviously, this was a movie that Stanley Kubrick was working to make and asked Steven Spielberg to make or help direct. And obviously, Stanley Kubrick passed away in 1999, and then Steven Spielberg went ahead and worked on this movie. Um, from what my understanding is, the movie we were given was pretty much how Stanley Kubrick wanted to direct it or wanted to film it. And this, if you watch it, it is a very intriguing movie. Like it's got a good, I think it's got a pretty good story. It's definitely um it's about a oh man, how do I even describe the movie, because it does go certain directions as the movie progresses. um but basically, um Haley Joel Osment plays um a boy robot. Basically, he is created to be brought into certain households. So he was built, designed to become attached to a family. I don't know how much more. So obviously he's brought into. I'm just going to give you the beginning setup. Basically, he is brought into a family who had a son that's basically in a coma, and they're not sure if he's going to ever get better. So they went ahead and got this boy robot. I think that's all I'm going to give you, because for those that have seen it knows how the movie flows and everything. But anyway, what's very interesting about it is I pretty much just to boil it down to a simple phrase. It's a Steven Spielberg attempting to make a Stanley Kubrick movie, um, and that's I think that's the best way to describe it. It's Steven Spielberg trying to make a Stanley Kubrick movie, and I think he did a good job. Like again, I've only watched a few Stanley Kubrick movies, but I feel like he captures just some of those aspects about Stanley Kubrick. And from the movies that I've seen, there he's an excellent director. So, but it was definitely like it is well done. It is um, definitely intriguing watch for that reason, and it's one I have appreciated going to watch. It's not one of my favorite Steven Spielberg movies. It's not one I'm going to go back and rewatch a lot, but it's one that I'm also glad to, for this purpose, I'm glad to have gone back and rewatched. I picked this one up on Blu-ray, It at this time it is not available on 4K Ultra HD. Hopefully one day that changes, and I'm sure like a lot of Steven Spielberg, a lot of his movies have come out on 4K Ultra HD, so I'm sure one day this one will as well. Anyway, so I picked it up on Blu-ray. It was for a reasonable price, and I checked it out on my dedicated home theater. Picture quality, it's the Blu-ray is about 16 years old at this point. Um, the presentation was good. The picture looked good. Obviously, some a little bit of weaknesses here and there, but still looked really good and still looked presentable. And I was it worked for me. The sound was in DTS HD, I think 6.1, and again, experiencing the sound of my dedicated home theater is very good. Um, Music was really good. John Williams does a great job on the scores as always, and yeah, it's like the sound effects were well placed all over the soundscape, and dialogue was clear and everything, and it worked. So yeah, the sound was really good. So overall, this was a very good home theater experience, even in the limitations of the picture quality. Um, so again, it's one of those like if you're wanting to complete your Steven Spielberg movies or science fiction movies, um, right now I don't think this movie's too expensive right now, so I'm pretty sure you can get it at a good price. All right, the next one is a movie called Bullitt. This one was I mainly picked this one up because I was talking to my mom and she recommended it, and so I decided to give it a shot. And I mean, I saw Steve McQueen in the movie The Great Escape a few months ago, and I was kind of curious on another one of his movies, and I heard a lot of people reference this movie, so that's kind of what interested me to check this one out. And so I picked it up on Blu-ray. It's not on 4K Ultra HD at this time. Hopefully one day it'll get released on 4K Ultra HD after watching it. So but yeah, I picked it up on Blu-ray. The Blu-ray's quite old, but okay, let's go to the movie first. To be honest, like I wasn't I don't think I knew what going in what to expect, and so I was definitely rather caught off on just how it was a little bit different in how it was presented. So I was expecting more of a different kind of approach to how the film being presented. I mean, edited, filmed, and everything like that. And it just obviously there was some music, but it didn't feel like it had a lot of music in it. And it just moments how it was shot, presented, and all that just kind of had that feel of like almost felt like a documentary style to me in some ways. Even just like certain moments where you're seeing like a character coming to another person to talk, and then all of a sudden you've got you're kind of you're feeling like you're watching from a distance before they cut in to listen more closely and all that. Um, just how it's presented like that. And again, these are not knocks to the movie. This was very intriguing. This what kind of like making those choices got me more invested. I'm like, oh, this is very interesting. And obviously it's more of like it is more suspense thriller, more built itself up. It's got some really good action sequences, but it takes its time to build themselves up, and how it builds itself up is really cool. The favorite part One of the cool parts was a car chase sequence in the middle of the movie. For those that have seen it probably know what I'm referring to. And yeah, obviously, I don't want to go too much into that because I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone that has not seen it. Um, but I very much enjoyed this movie, actually. Again, this is a movie released in the late 60s. So, and I picked this one up on Blu ray and experienced it in my modest home theater. So, And overall, it was definitely like the picture quality was fine. It looked pretty good. Again, this is the Blu-ray from like I think released 20 years ago. So so again, it was fine. It wasn't anything mind blowing, but it worked well enough for all that, and the sound was good. It was Dolby Digital 2.0, so it wasn't a lossless like a DTS HD or anything like that. But again, it was an older Blu-ray, and but I feel like it was presentable enough. Um, and again, like, but I do, if they do put this out on 4K Ultra HD in the future, I do plan to pick it up. I would like to see them do the remastering and see how the upgrades are. So, um, again, if you haven't picked this one up and you want to, the price is, I mean, I got it for pretty much $8. So, it was rather cheap. So, yeah. Um, but again, if you want to wait, hopefully one day they put it on 4K Ultra HD. Um, and with Warner Brothers putting out a lot of their movies on 4K Ultra HD these days, it's possible this one could be coming out sometime in the future. But anyway, we'll see. All right, the next one, Speed 2 Cruise Control. This was one that really wasn't on my radar of really wanting to check out. Um, Barnes and Nobles was doing a sale on a bunch of movies from the Mill Creek brand, and a lot of them were from the like Disney, 20th Century Fox, and all that, or Disney / 20th Century Studios and all that. And they were like half off, and like I was able to get a few Blu-rays for like 750 or something like that. And I heard a lot about this movie to a point that I was kind of curious. So I picked it up on Blu-ray. Just a little. Obviously, it's a sequel. It's pretty much like a poorly regarded sequel. Watching it, I understand why, and watching it, I agree. And but let me put it this way: I do think it's not a good movie. But I would be lying to you if I told you I did not have a fun time because I very much did. Um, Again, a lot of it was ridiculous, over the top. The big stand, the big standpoint in it is Willem Dafoe as the villain. He did a great job. Like he played it over the top. I think he matched just the absurdity of some of the stuff going on. Um, Obviously, a cruise ship hijacked and needing is speeding and all that, and then trying to stop it from speeding and all that. Without spoiling anything, the last 15 minutes, like there was a good chunk of that. I was laughing so hard, just for how absurd it was. For those that have seen the movie, you guys probably know exactly what I'm referring to. Um, but I had a fun time. Like I think because I I put my expectations appropriately, and I think that's the reason why I was able to just enjoy it. So again, it's one of those, if you like a movie that's like basically poorly done, but can somehow become entertaining that you can have a fun time laughing at or whatnot. I think if you get a good group together, I think you can have a fun time watching this. Um, I picked this up on Blu-ray, like I said. I watched in my dedicated home theater. Again, just I talked about what my modest home theater was like. My dedicated home theater is a projector, um, with a with again a good size 7.1 speaker system, which has Dolby Atmos and DTS:X. Um, so I was experiencing that in my dedicated home theater, which so the picture quality was actually pretty good. Um, some little shortcomings here and there, but overall it looked good. Like the scope of some of the shots of the cruise ship looked really good. Some of the visual effects, how it was captured and getting that presented, looked really good. The sound was definitely very um, was definitely really good. That was the standout for this presentation was the sound. Like it, the sound effects were well placed in the soundscape, and the intensity was great and everything. So it definitely top marks for that. So yeah, it was a very good home theater experience as a result. So again, I got this at a really cheap price. For those that are fans, I think if you enjoy it, you want to get it. I think you can get it for a good price. Okay, my next one, High and Low. Um, so this is a movie from Akira Kurosawa. Kurosawa. Um, he has directed a bunch of movies throughout his career. Uh, for those who have heard of Seven Samurai in the Hidden Fortress, same director, and I've already watched those. I've given my thoughts in the past. Um, and I decided to check out more of his movies. And so I picked up this movie, High and Low. Um, I'll just give you the beginning premise of the movie. Basically, it's about a wealthy family who their son has been kidnapped, and the kidnapper is asking for a ransom. That's all I'm going to give you. Um, and I was definitely glued in throughout the whole movie, just trying to find out what was going to happen, but also just how things evolve. Like, um, again, this isn't like an action packed movie or anything like that. It is more of a slow burn, but there are aspects where the intensity can increase. And um, overall, the overall, like it was just it kept me kept me invested. And what really invested me also was how just thinking about the themes of the movie, how it connects to the title of the movie, and that how it relates to the themes of the movie, and that's what intrigued me, and it got me thinking quite a bit after watching the movie. Yeah, if you're a fan of Akira Kurosawa, want to check out more of his movies, I highly recommend checking this one out. It is different than Hidden Fortress and Seven Samurai, but it's definitely worth looking into. Um, I checked this one out on my dedicated home theater. I picked it up um, from the Criterion Collection on 4K Ultra HD during a recent sale, and the presentation was really good. The picture quality looked really good. It was in black and white, and the details looked really good. Got a good amount of grain um, and everything. So, and again, looking on a projected screen, it looked really good. The sound was in DTS HD 4.0, and it's more it is more of a talking movie, and you're hearing some of the dialogue move throughout the front speakers. But when music would come on, a lot of the time I would feel the whole soundscape on certain occasions. And again, but it's more of a talking movie, so. But it was definitely a very good home theater presentation, mainly for the picture or the home theater experience. Again, mainly for the picture. And again, if you want to get in and check it out, I think it's worth looking into. Okay, my last one, Minority Report. Um, I again another Steven Spielberg movie, as I described earlier. So, um, Minority Report was originally released in 2002, and Tom Cruise is part of an agency that basically tries to catch killers before they commit the crime. So they have a way to find out how the crime's about to happen, and so they try to find out who it is, and they try to capture the person before it happens. And then obviously things happen, how how the story unfolds is definitely very intriguing. Um, I remember watching this in theaters when it first came out. Um, yeah, it was definitely like a definitely different style, but going back to it, continuing to go back into it is definitely, I definitely feel like I get quite a bit as far as like the themes of the story and the how they're presented, like focusing on some of the camera work, and recognizing how some of the shots are done and all that. The look is very intriguing, and again, it's got a very compelling story. Um, the visuals are really good. It's got a very distinct look. Um, another cool thing is another great score from John Williams, who's always great at his scores. Um, I Yeah, if you're a Steven Spielberg fan, I highly recommend checking this one out, especially if you haven't seen it already. Um, I did get this one on 4K Ultra HD, and I experienced it in my dedicated home theater, and the home theater presentation was really good. The Like I was very happy with it. The picture quality looked great. Um, Obviously, details look great. Looked like there's some grain detail and all that, or grain in it. So it felt like it had a very filmic presentation. Again, the colors, obviously, what's the right word? There's a particular look for it. The colors are not vibrant, um, and it's intentional by design. It's supposed to feel like a very cold presentation. So, very cold future, basically. And it definitely delivers that. And the sounds in DTS HD 5.1, and it sounds really good. Like the sounds are well placed in the soundscape, definitely the right intensity in some of the um, certain action sequences and all that. And so overall, it was great to rewatch this, and it was a great home theater experience. So yeah, I recommend picking this one up, especially if you're a Steven Spielberg fan um, and I've checked this out before and want to check it out again. I do recommend getting the 4K Ultra HD disc. All right, moving on to the question of the day. My question of the day is: when I purchase tickets, what is my preferred way of doing so? Do I want to go um, to the to the box office station where the box office employee is, go to a kiosk, or go online to buy my tickets beforehand? I'm one of those. I like going to the box office employee. I think maybe because I might have that sense of old fashionedness with me, old fashioned aspect of me, where I like to. I've always gone to the employees and all that, and I worked in a couple of movie theaters where I would sell a lot of tickets to customers as they came through, and working at that front, definitely, it's definitely like an just seeing how that's all done, and it's just there's just something cool just having that be your first point of entry when going into the theater. So, um, so that's one my preferred way of doing it. Um, I do like going to the kiosk because I can usually forego the service fee if I can't do the box office employee. Um, and then I will do online if it's like a movie like, hey, the tickets are probably going to sell out and I don't have a way getting to the theater beforehand. So um, I will do it that way if needed. But yeah, those are just my thoughts on that. And again, I that's just how I am. I've gone to theaters over the years, and I went to movie theaters growing up as a kid before the online ticketing services were um, were big. Like I think in high school or maybe at the end of junior high, maybe it was beginning of high school when some of the online services were starting to become a thing. So anyway, those are just some of my thoughts today. And once again, thank you for tuning in to Movie Theater Explorer. Um, whether you listen to a few of my reviews, part of my reviews, or just one of my reviews, or just for even a minute of one of my reviews. I just appreciate you coming in, checking this out, and everything. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully you come back. Again, this is Brent with Movie Theater Explorer signing off.